Hi and welcome to In the Front Row, all things reactions, reviews and interviews. My name is Jamie Lee and today I'll be doing a review of episode 3 and 4 of She-Hulk streaming on Disney+. But before I get into my review, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel and would you mind hitting that like button for me. So to start off this episode, we have Jen confronting the Abomination. No, not that Abomination. Let's not even talk about that embarrassment. Anyway, so she confronts Emil about his escape. He explains that it was Wong who helped him escape from the prison, and Jen tasks Nikki with tracking down Wong, and she does this using a thirst trap. So cringy, so not believable. I really don't believe that Wong would fall for a thirst trap, even if the girl did look as gorgeous as this. So Wong appears at the court hearing and clears Emil of any wrongdoing, and he is free to be released, providing he wears this incubator around his neck, which stops him from turning into the Abomination. He's basically free to go live with these 7 soulmates, I think he called them, but that's what he's free to go do now. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, there's a little side plot going on as well with Dennis the Dick. He was defrauded of $175,000 by someone catfishing him, pretending to be Megan the Stallion. Literally never heard of her in my life until all that internet hype with the twerking or whatnot. So I'm not quite sure if I'm a bit old there or if I'm out of the loop, but I literally did not even know who that person was. Anyway, a shape-shifting light elf from New Asgard was pretending to be her, sucked Dennis in and defrauded him of some money. So he's trying to sue her now, and Jen helps him out with winning his case. I'm not quite sure if there was a point to that case, like if it's going to lead anywhere, or if it was just filler thrown in there to have like a celebrity cameo, or it was to show that like Jen helped win a court case again, I guess. Maybe having a record of 2 for 2. I'm not really quite sure, but it was just totally random and it just felt like filler to me, honestly. Anyway, after that, we finally get into some good stuff. So Jen's walking home and she was attacked by this group of men. I think she calls them like the construction crew from New Asgard or something. They've got these like mystical powers and things like this. They attack Jen trying to get her blood. She transforms into She-Hulk and roughs them up a little bit, sends them scrambling. And one of the guys, when he is in the car, he says something about telling the boss or something like this, and I was like, yes, the Kingpin, like we're finally gonna get some villain, you know, a real threat in this. Daredevil's finally going to be introduced and things are gonna start to pick up now, so I was really excited about this part. And the reason why I was so excited is because I feel like we're finally getting a villain. Finally there is a threat to Jen and something to progress this storyline, because episode 1 I did love. It was a great origin story. Episode 2 we sort of learned about Jen's personality a bit. You know, like she was very down because she'd lost her job, and that was something that she was so passionate about. You know, she was so career driven. So to lose all that, we got to learn a little bit about her personality a bit more. And then she got her other job, same things. She was still dealing with a lot of emotions with all that. Episode 3, this was really good because we got to see her in that full lawyer mode. You know, she was taking on that court case, and that's the stuff that I was really excited to see. But I kind of feel like we're not really going anywhere. Like that side plot, I'm like, what did that have to do with anything? So to finally have a threat, it feels like we're actually going somewhere now. Like there's a point, we're leading towards something, you know, like a conflict and a resolution. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, but it's not really what I got after the first 3 episodes. So finally at the end of episode 3, like there was the tiniest little bit where we get an introduction to that. So that's really good. In this episode, I really loved the scenes where Jen was interacting with Wong and Emil. I thought those scenes at the prison were really great, where she was in full lawyer mode. I really loved those parts there. My favorite part was when Wong said this.
I'm not erasing everyone's memories, not again. Yeah, it's also very messy, believe me.
I thought that was really clever because, as we all know, Doctor Strange erased everyone's memory of Peter, which in turn created that multiverse of madness mess that they had to deal with. So I thought that line was quite clever. I also really loved when Jen was breaking the 4th wall, you know, talking about there being cameos every week and that it was still her show. I felt like they were taking the piss out of the show. They know that everybody's going to react in a certain way and they're sort of acknowledging that. Same with the MCU sort of stuff. You know, everybody is talking about the fact that there's too many superheroes that are women, all this sort of stuff. They're taking the piss out of that, they're acknowledging it, and they're just having some fun with it, and I thought that was really cool. I did chuckle a bit more in this episode, I gotta say. Like the humor picked up a tiny little bit. I did laugh at these moments here.
I don't know about y'all, but I'd smash.
You're pregnant with the Abomination's baby, and you're flaunting a little baby.
That's who the father is?
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And even though the humor picked up a little bit, There were still some cringy moments in this, you know, the moment with the prison guard crying over Emil and talking about his ex-wife or something like that. Those moments were totally unnecessary and just really bland. Also, the moment with Pug, still, they're throwing that like man hate down your throat. It's like, it's so cringy and we don't want that. Nobody wants that. Like this moment here, for example.
I love harassing women in the workplace. It's my kick, baby. Not cool.
Why did that shapeshifter even need to imitate Pug? Couldn't we have left it where she was imitating Dennis and left it at that? Like, that scene was unnecessary. It's not funny. I don't know of anybody that would laugh at that sort of stuff. It's purely man-hating. And I'm starting to think that the only reason why some of this stuff is included, like the stuff with the twerking, for example, is purely to get a reaction and purely to get people talking about the show. I mean, I guess it's true what they say, that any attention is good attention in this case, and I'm starting to feel like this show follows that motto, because some of this stuff doesn't need to be in there, and I feel like the stuff that doesn't need to be in there is the stuff that gets talked about more than the actual plot itself, which is so strange to me. But hey, if it's working and bringing your attention to the show, then that's great, but I don't feel like it is working in my opinion. Anyway, let's move on to episode 4. Do you remember how not too long ago I was just talking about how we've finally got a direction, we're finally progressing into a point? Well, I was wrong, because episode 4 just backflipped that totally, because I feel like this episode was Wong's episode featuring She-Hulk, which would have been fine. I could justify that. If there was progression with Jen, you know, if there was some sort of point, if it was an episode about Wong that related to the MCU in some way, like if it made a point, or, you know, we needed this Wong episode in order for that storyline or this show to make sense. But I feel like it didn't. I feel like it was just totally random and just such a waste of an episode, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So in this episode, we have an ex-student of the mystic arts who is practicing magic as a side job. At one of his shows, he accidentally sends Madison, that's
Madison with 2 N's, 1 Y, but it's not where you think.
Was that supposed to be funny? Is that an inside joke that I'm missing, like that, like Megan Thee Stallion one? Because I don't get it. I don't find that funny at all. It was like, okay, yep, we got it. You spell your name weird. Anyway, so she gets sent through the portal to a few different dimensions and she ends up on Wong's couch. She ends up calling him Wongers, which I think is really cute. I'm not gonna lie, I actually like that nickname and I'm probably gonna call him that from now on. But she talks to him about spoilers about The Sopranos. Those references went over my head because I haven't watched that. So Wongers is at breaking point with this guy. So he decides to go to Jen to take legal action against him when he could just teleport him to another dimension and be rid of him completely. But anyway, I will overlook that part because Wong does like to play by the rules, so we'll overlook that part there. Meanwhile, Jen has joined a dating app and goes on a few dates with some guys. Of course, they're complete tosses because that's how every guy in the show I feel is represented. Anyway, she manages to find the perfect one. Don't know how on a dating app, but I'll overlook that part as well. She goes on a date with him and takes him home. And during this time, the magician that we were talking about earlier hosts another show, wants to send a girl through the portal again because it worked so perfectly last time. She declines, so he does something different and spawns in a bird. The bird lays an egg, the egg hatches and outspawns this cute little demon in the form of a bat. Am I allowed to call them demi-bats, or is that trademark to Stranger Things? Because I kind of want to call them that. These demi-bats transform into these not so little and not so cute bats, and more of them start to spawn. So the people flee from this show and the magician reaches out to Wong to try and get some help to remove these demi-bats, which is a smart idea because Wong is a sorcerer supreme. He is powerful enough to open a portal, send these demi-bats through, and that be the end of it. But no, he reaches out to Jen for help with these demi-bats, and it's just like, what is the point of that? I mean, what is the point of this whole scene, to be honest with you? But what is the point of reaching out to Jen for help? You don't need help. You are the Sorcerer Supreme, for God's sake. So that really frustrated me. In saying that, that scene with Wong and She-Hulk fighting them demi-bats, that was my favorite scene of the whole episode. I mean, yeah, I don't agree with the logic as to why that scene is there or the point of that scene in general, but it was really great to look at. It was really great to watch. I thought the comedy in it was great. Like when Wong says to her, "Be a Hulk!" and straight away she does this, like Hulk smash. And I really like that part where she was pinned to the ground by those demi-bats and she was fighting them off. That really reminded me of 2003 Hulk, where he was pinned down by those dogs. I don't know if that scene was intentionally supposed to throw me back to that movie, but it did, and I thought that was quite cool. So after they remove all the demi-bats, She-Hulk teleports back onto the couch with the hottie. The following morning, she's watching the news to learn that Titania, the first superhuman that she fought in the first episode, the one where she actually exposed herself as She-Hulk, that lady has been released, no charges filed against her, so she learns that by watching the news. So the hot doctor from the night before comes out. Jen has made him breakfast, which is really cute. He rejects her because she's not She-Hulk, you know, she's in Jen form. That part there was really sad, and again, kind of man-hating, because like, why couldn't this doctor just love her and they have like a happily ever after? I don't know, maybe I'm just too into love. But anyway, he leaves her. He turns out to be a dick, just like every other guy she went on a date with. And then there's a knock at the door, and she is slapped with a lawsuit claiming that Titania has trademarked the name She-Hulk and Jen is getting sued. What a double whammy. And that is the end of the show. That's it. So I'm a bit on the fence about this episode, because I did like the Jen in lawyer form again. I did like the demi-bat scene, even though I think that whole plotline is unnecessary, but I just don't understand where we're going with the plot. I don't see the direction. And I really like a direction. I really like things to be clear. Maybe I'm simple-minded. I don't know. Maybe I just can't go with the flow. I don't know. But I like there to be a conflict. I like there to be resolution. I like to know who the bad guy is. That was one of the things that I was really disappointed about with Miss Marvel, is that they didn't make the threat scary. They didn't make there be a really bad threat. And this is the same. I literally don't know who the bad guy is in this. And I want to know who the bad guy is in this. Is it Titania? Is it Abomination? Is it this guy that she went on a date with? Are they all working under Kingpin? Who is the villain? Who is the real threat here? You need to really make them threatening. And there's no one even there to be threatening at the moment. In this episode, we did get to see a lot of Wongers, which was great, but I feel like he was just so wasted. Do you know what I mean? Like, he had conversations pretty much the whole episode with this ditzy new character. And it's like, couldn't he be helping focus on a point? Like, who are these people trying to collect her blood? Can we focus and narrow in on that rather than them focusing on this guy who wants to be a magician and using the mystic arts? Did that even need to be in there, really? Let's focus on the threat. Let's at least establish a threat, because this episode just seemed like a filler episode. It didn't focus on anything at all. And yeah, we might have got out of it that Jen's on a dating app now and, you know, wants to get into dating. Maybe it was to introduce that guy who might be a villain. I'm not even sure about that. Maybe it was just to have Wong as a cameo, but couldn't all three of those points, which I think were the only points of the whole episode, couldn't that have been done a little bit better? I just feel like this show is so scattered. Nothing is really leading to a point, and I hope that it does, but God, I thought we would have got there by episode 4. Like, there's 5 episodes left, and I just feel like out of those 5, we could have narrowed all of that really down to 1. Sorry if I sound a little bit bitter, because I do like elements of the show. Like, I really like Tatiana. I think she's a great actress. I'm loving the cameos, but I don't see the point of the show. I'm not seeing where it's leading to. And that really frustrates me, because at the end of the episode, I literally go, is that it? Really? That's how I end the episode. And I don't like ending episodes like that. I don't like watching a show and at the end feeling like that. I mean, I felt like that with Moon Knight. I felt like, I have to watch this because it might link in, but it sucked. I didn't enjoy it. And I feel like this is kind of leading in that same direction. I'm watching it purely because I'm hoping that it links to something else, or if I don't watch it, you know, I'll regret it because it's going to make sense in the bigger picture of things. But God, I wish they would show me the bigger picture of things, because I'm not getting any picture. You know what I mean? I'm just getting little bits here and there and I don't get it. Anyway, here's the part where I'm going to sound like a broken record by saying that hopefully this gets better. Hopefully next week's episode is a lot better than this one, because I really want to see a villain. I really want to see a threat introduced to Jen. I want to see a conflict. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully we're going to get it next week. So those were my thoughts on these 2 episodes anyway. Let me know in the comments section what your thoughts were. And if you're not already, could you please subscribe to my channel and then head on over to my Instagram and give me a follow over there as well, please. Okay, sweet as. Have a good day. Bye.